today in this video I'm going to show you how I overwintered both my chrysanthemums and my dahlias in the ground and how they've survived. So this is actually the first time I've taken off the cover, and first up I have my hardy geranium that was also under here. As you can see, it's survived. I mean, the weeds have also survived, so I'll get rid of them, and once they're all gone you'll be able to see all the new growth on that geranium. It's not looking too bad at all. I'm really pleased with that. And if we move over, this is the first of my chrysanthemums, and I can't believe, like, look at all the new growth on that already. So this one, I've still got the label on it, is my Eloise salmon, so that's great. This was one of my favourites last year, even though I only got a couple of flowers off of it. And then here, unfortunately, these are my apple blossom geraniums that I put in the ground, and I thought maybe, I knew they weren't hardy, but I thought maybe they might survive. But looking at them, I think they've all gone. Next up, another one of my chrysanthemums. It's looking really good as well. We've got a lot of new growth on that. Unfortunately, I've lost the label for that one, so I actually have no idea what it is. Another one of my apple blossom geraniums, I'm actually going to just weed them, tidy them up a bit and leave them in the ground and see if anything happens, but I really doubt it. As you can see, the weeds have really thrived under this as well. And I actually forgot to talk about what I actually did. So I made some hoops, I left them in the ground where they were, and I just put some plastic over the top and then one sheet of fleece, and that was it. That's all I did. As you could probably see, there was a lot of holes and everything. That was from cats, so the cats got in and they ripped open the top, etc. And I've just cut off some new growth on that chrysanthemum. It's not doing anywhere near as well as the others, but the stems are green and there was that little bit of new growth, so hopefully this one should come back with no real issues. Overall, I'm really impressed with how this is going. I am upset about those geraniums, but hey, it was a long shot anyway. So we move on. Is another chrysanthemum that I've got the label for, and this is Misty Pearl. Again, not doing it as well as what some of the others have done. I'm sorry for my terrible camera skills, I was rushing through this actually. But yeah, it's still got a bit of new growth, but some of them, like this one, is doing really well. It's got loads of new shoots coming up. Thankfully, here's another one with a label, so I'll be able to tell you what this is. I think this one is Coral Reef. I'll double check the label, but yeah, yep, Coral Reef. But yeah, this one's looking really good as well. A lot of really good growth. What I'm doing is I'm just tidying them up a little bit, so I cut them back really far in the autumn before I covered them over, and then what I'm doing now is I'm just taking off any of the dead stems that are really not going to produce anything, so ones that have no growth, just to leave room and energy for all the new growth that's coming from the base of the plant. This one's doing really well, but I've got no label for it. Now this one is my Alfredo orange, and unfortunately I think this one I might have lost. I can't see anything on it. No new growth. And as you can see, I didn't actually mulch this one up, which I'm really surprised about. I don't understand how I managed to do that. And the roots are exposed at the top, so chances are the frost has just killed the cold and the frost has just killed that one off. What I will do is I will put a bit of mulch on top and see if that one comes back, but I don't think it will. No, and as I said, I'm really upset because Alfredo Orange was one of my favourites last year, but we'll see if it comes back. But I highly doubt it. That you can see all the little roots sticking out, and it was really unsecure in the ground as well. That's my own fault. I should have planted that better. And then these last two, they're doing really good. One of these is my garden hardy varieties, so I think it's the next one. I'm not sure what this one is, but it's got some really nice new growth quite far up the plant, which is great. And yeah, this one this is my my garden hardy one. Oh gosh, the name of it has escaped me now. It's a spray chrysanthemum, Perry's Peach. And look at this, isn't that amazing? So this is just a branch that I cut off in the winter and just left it on the ground, but because it was touching some soil, it's actually rooted. It's done better than my actual chrysanthemum cuttings that I took in the winter and tried to grow. So yeah, that's a bit of a surprise. But yeah, this one's doing really well. Of course. Oh no, I got it wrong. This is D-Gem. So actually that's not my garden hardy one, so it must have been the one before. Well, that's really surprising. I thought that one, because it had so much growth on it, would have been one of the hardy ones. No, this one. This is the garden hardy one. This is what happens when you don't label everything. But I mean, these last ones are the final two that I have, and overall I'm pretty pleased. I'm pretty impressed because, you know, chrysanthemums, apart from the garden hardy one that I'm doing right now, aren't frost tolerant, and I honestly thought just a piece of plastic and a piece of fleece wasn't going to be enough and I was going to lose them all. So there you go. You can overwinter your chrysanthemums in the ground with just a minimal amount of protection, and they will survive. Okay, now let's have a look at my dahlias. I think I've got about 3 dahlias in here, and these have been in all winter, and actually I found the first one. It's had nothing really on top of it apart from like a small amount of wood chips, and the first tuber that I found is rotten, which is a shame. However, if you look here, they're all solid. They're all completely solid, and as you can see, that's literally above the ground level. And it's not what I planned at all. This was an experiment that I deliberately did, but my plan was actually to mulch really heavily and then put a piece of fleece over the top, but I never got around to it before it started to get cold and rain, and by that time I thought, oh no, there's no way. If they're dead, they're dead. There's no point. But actually, looking at these, I'm really chuffed. Really chuffed. I mean, there's like, you know, there's another small rotten tuber near the top, but the main tubers, the big tubers, they're fine. I mean, literally, they couldn't be more solid, and they've got about 1/2 inch of wood chips on top, and that is it. That's literally it. And I left them in all winter, with no other protection. And actually, this part of my allotment gets quite wet because it's at the side of the road, and you get the runoff from the road because it's ever so slightly on a hill, so the water runs right off the road onto the front of my plot, and yeah, they've all survived. They've all done really well with absolutely no protection. Now I should let you know that, so I'm in the UK, I'm near Birmingham, so the West Midlands. I don't really know what zone that kind of relates to in American sort of zone terms, but I can tell you we've had a really mild winter, so that could be the reason. But yeah, there you go, that's how I've overwintered everything.